Today we are going to be making spaghetti and meatballs. So here are all my ingredients: olive oil, garlic, onion, V8 juice. It also comes in little cans. Some diced tomatoes, sugar, basil. I showed this to you guys last time. This is the partly dried one that you just open up and it stays in the fridge. It's really good. And then salt and pepper. And then I have all of our meatball ingredients: ground beef, breadcrumbs, an egg, salt and pepper, and garlic again. And then a cutting board and a knife. That is for the onion. And then all of our measuring cups and bowls and spaghetti to make spaghetti. So for our onion, I have my little tiny cutting board and my knife. So we only need half an onion for this recipe, so I'm going to cut this in half. And what I like to do when I cut onions is chop off the ends. And then I usually turn it over and peel off the very outside layer so that you don't have to deal with all of the little onion shell pieces while you're chopping. And I'm gonna fast forward this for you guys. I'm just gonna chop here. I actually am running out of room, so I'm gonna use a bowl. Put all of my chopped onions into a bowl. And then when I cook this, I'll just dump it in. Here is 1 tablespoon of olive oil onto our pan. And we're going to heat it up to medium. We don't want it to get too hot. I added the onions and garlic. Diced tomatoes. It calls for 1 can. And you just add all of the ingredients that are on the ingredient list here. V8 juice, it calls for 10 ounces, which is 1 bottle of this. And then we have, what's next? Our sugar, a 4th cup of sugar. You don't have to add this, it just helps sweeten it a little bit. Some pepper. Whenever a recipe says salt and pepper and it just says the names without measurements, it usually just means a sprinkle, so not too much here. And then basil. This is just going to be a pinch of basil. I'll just add a pinch, maybe a little bit more. I really love basil. Okay, so those are all the ingredients for the sauce. I'm just gonna mix it up. And it's still on medium from when I turned it on. So we're gonna let this sit and simmer for the whole time while we're making all of the other stuff. So let's turn this temperature down to more of a low so that we don't have the sauce splattering. We're gonna preheat the oven to 350 for our meatballs. And here are our meatball ingredients. I usually try to keep my ground beef in a plastic wrap so that I don't have to touch it at all. So there's 1 pound of ground beef, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And a tablespoon of garlic. Next we have a 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. And when it says breadcrumbs, it means these really, really fine breadcrumbs that you buy in the box, not just big chunks of bread, because it needs to mix together. The egg I'm going to add after I stir this a few times so that all the stuff is a little bit pre-mixed. And then the egg will help it all kind of stick together a little bit better. So now I'll add the egg, and I'm gonna speed up this video for you guys because it does take a good minute or two to mix everything together, and it should look like that. For the meatballs, I'm gonna take just a small ball and roll it up in my hand, about a little bit smaller than a golf ball. And I'll also speed this up to show you guys all of the meatballs that I made. And sometimes this makes more or less. The number's not really too big of a deal. I'm gonna throw these in the oven that we already preheated, close it up, and I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. And remember, when you check the meatballs, when you cut it, you don't want any pink inside. So here they are. They look really, really good. Perfect. We're gonna make the spaghetti now. So first you want to fill up a pot with some water. And hello plants. So we want to fill this up almost all the way, but not too high. Oh, I think I added too much. So we're gonna pour out just a little bit. You want it about 3/4 full. We're gonna put it on the burner, and you wanna turn your temperature to high because you want this water to be really boiling. So while we are heating that up, I'm gonna show you guys a little spaghetti trick that I learned. So I take my spaghetti noodles and break them in half so that they fit in the pot. This is a little tricky. You're gonna lose some noodles here. I keep on dropping all the pieces. But once you have a good handful of noodles and our water is now boiling, we're gonna dump these in and they all fit in the pot. Because usually I'll have noodles that are sticking out. We're gonna turn this down to medium so it doesn't bubble over. And I like my spaghetti pretty well cooked. So I'm gonna do 9 minutes. If you like it really, really soft, you can do more, like 11 minutes. So now it's all finished. I'm gonna dump it in a colander to drain out all the water. I'm gonna shake the colander a little bit to get all that water out. And I'm gonna dump it right back into the pan so that it stays warm. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm gonna add all my meatballs to my sauce, and then I'm gonna make a plate of spaghetti and meatballs to show you guys. So here's some spaghetti. I should probably get a spoon, a really big serving spoon. And I'm gonna get some meatballs and some sauce. You don't have to put the meatballs in the sauce, but I think it tastes really good when they're together. So here's some meatballs. I'm gonna get a little bit more sauce here. And here is our delicious spaghetti and meatballs. I hope you guys enjoy.